Hello everyone, it's Thursday. Today I'm going to be doing a song-by-song review of Emma Blackery's new album, Villains, which came out on August 31st. This is the second album that I've owned by a pop artist. The first one was Selena Gomez's album, Stars Dance, which came out about 5 years ago. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to go track by track, just talk basically about the sound of each one. If you're not familiar with Emma Blackery, I highly recommend that you check out her music. She's got some pretty good stuff. So without further ado, here we go with the album review. So the first song on the album is called Villains Part 1. The vibe that I got from this song was it's very spooky and very kind of like Halloween-ish, sort of. There was a part during the bridge where there's background voices or vocals that almost sound ghost-like, and it also got me thinking a little bit about that movie, The Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't know why I thought that, and I'm pretty sure that she did not intentionally do that. Then again, I would have no way of knowing. But then again, I got a very spooky Halloween-like vibe from listening to that song. But anyway, it does set up the album very nicely. The whole album itself is actually a story from beginning to end, so if you do end up getting it, it would be probably best to listen to all the songs in order, and Villains Part 1 does a great job at setting up the rest of the album. Okay, on to track number 2, which is called Dirt. This was actually the first single released from this album back in March. It has this really cool marimba part in the middle. There's another song that has some marimba in it that we're going to get to in a moment. And the marimba part kind of goes throughout most of the song. You can hear it a lot in the chorus. And the thing I like most about this song is I like listening to it while I'm driving. I don't know why, it just has kind of like that road trip vibe to me. Also, you might be able to hear, and I'm not sure if this was intentional, I kind of think it might have been, but you can kind of hear the little motive, na 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 na, kind of like, you know, bragging, like, you know, you're not going to get caught or something like that. One of those things I used to do when I was a kid. At least I think I did that when I was a kid. I don't remember. The third track on this song is called Agenda. This was the second single that was released from this album after Dirt. The whole message of letting go of a person who is not in your best interest and who is just not making you the best version of yourself. At least that's the vibe that I got from that song. It's also got a great beat and a really catchy part in the chorus that actually spells out the word agenda. There's a cheesy little cash register sound, I think. Is it the cash register sound? I can't remember, but it's toward the middle of the song. I like it. I think it's placed very well. Some people might find it cheesy, but to each their own. But overall, it's one of my favorite tracks on the album. Okay, moving right along, we have the fourth track called Fake Friends. The thing that I love about this particular song is that musically, the bridge and the chorus line up, and they come together at the end of the song. I think that's so cool when artists are able to do that. It's got this really neat techno beat that drives throughout most of the song. At least I think it's techno. I don't know. Now the chorus is pretty repetitive, but I think that's why people tend to like it. In fact, I find myself singing the chorus to this song quite often now. Moving right along, we're to the fifth track now, which is called ICARUS. This is the other song that has the marimba in it. It happens at the very beginning and actually kind of carries throughout the entire song. It sets up this really nice melodic motive at the beginning that really sets the tone for the whole song. I love this song very much. It's very soothing, it's very calming. I think it's a great standalone song, and it largely has to do with the story of the Icarus character. The vocals that she has in this song, and some of the backup ones too, are so haunting and beautiful, as are the words. I feel like a message that this song might have for people listening might be to let something go before it starts to hurt you, if it's not already hurting you. Okay, moving right along, we have the final single from this album called Take Me Out. This one has a pretty good beat to it. It's fairly simple. It's not one of my favorite tracks on the album, but it's got some really cool parts, and the melody is very simple as well. Okay, moving right along, the next track we have is Petty, which is actually the shortest track on the entire album. This is a song that has my favorite line in it, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to spoil it, but I will say if you do end up listening to Petty, it's the very last line that she sings before the ending. But this is another one that has a great beat and some really strange kind of drum sound that I could not quite place. It didn't sound like a bass drum, it didn't sound like a snare drum, it was not a marimba, but it sounded like some sort of drum that was hit during the chorus. Personally, it is, like I said, the shortest one. I think the chorus should come again at the very end because it doesn't. You have my favorite line, and then there's kind of like some melodic riffs and some backgrounds, and then it kind of ends. I think it'd be great to have the chorus come again, but that's just me. Okay, moving right along, we have the next track, which is called Third Eye. Best song on the entire album, hands down. It's got this really catchy ascending line in the chorus that just repeats itself, and there's a pun there. but obviously if you haven't heard it, you don't know the pun. And it's just so full of energy and so wonderfully done. The energy in this particular song sounds very intense, almost angry or full of rage, kind of like the singer felt betrayed or lost the trust of somebody. Okay, moving right along, we have the next track, What I Felt With You. This is kind of another subdued, calming song. It's almost like the person singing is longing to have somebody back, but realizing that they don't want them back. It's also actually kind of sad in some ways. At least I found it sad. Okay, to the penultimate track now, we have Burn the Witch. This has a great melody, a very catchy chorus as well. The chorus itself also has a great melody. And I will say, just for the record, that of the two songs on this track that are explicit, this is the most explicit one. I don't want to make it seem like it's not a big issue when it should be, but I'll just say it could be a lot worse. And then finally we have the last song, which is called Villains Part 2. This is the longest track on the entire album, almost 5 minutes long. And quite frankly, for me, it's the hardest track to listen to. For me, it's very emotional, very powerful, and very introspective. It kind of turns itself around from the part 1 and looks at it from a different way. It addresses something that I think many people, especially those that create, face a lot in their lives. It touches on how we can be our own biggest critics, and by doing so, that can lead us down a terrible path of self-destruction. So that's a really brief review of Emma's new album, Villains, which again came out on August 31st. I really encourage you to at least find a way to listen to some of these tracks. They are very good. Emma is actually a British comedian, YouTuber, musician, whatever she wants to be called. She wants to be called a musician, I think. I don't know. She has a book, which is prominently displayed up here. I'm going to be changing it very soon because I'm finishing a book right now. And I encourage you, really go and check this out. It's really worth your time. Got some great tracks on here. I'm sure you'll find one that you end up liking. All right, thank you all for watching. God bless, and I will see you next time. Take care.